So, how long have we had this lift kit on?
6 months. Maybe?
6 months? I think it's been a little longer.
I don't know.
So after that amount of time, the lift kit has done really well. It's actually, the right, it's a little firmer. We're going to go and compile all the suspension lift, because we haven't done this yet, into one video. That's going to be the front, the back, and the transfer case drop with the modifications to
it's a lot, y'all.
The shift columns. It is a lot.
But if you want to do it, they can show you.
Yes. And if you're doing this is a 4-inch lift. If you're doing a 6-inch lift or a 3-inch lift or something, you're going to have similar experiences. Now, what we had before was a 3-inch body lift. 3-inch body lift and a 4-inch lift. 7 inches, that was really tall. Barely fit in the garage. So if we got...
It was pretty cool though. But yeah.
If we got the tires to accommodate that lift, it would never fit in the garage.
No.
But y'all stay tuned and we'll get into this.
Dealing and everything. So that's good.
So to get this in, first I spray it with a little PD blaster to lube up the tube. Okay.
Oh, too much dead.
This is why you don't touch capacitors. One. Whoa! He just seized the broom. Okay guys, so I know I said we were going to do a spring flip, put the axle underneath the spring, but that was too darn costly when I saw this kit. This is a rough country kit, comes with these smiley things. This is the rear smiley thing, has a wedge in it for axle angle, and this is the front smiley thing. And we got 2 of these, for 2 on the front, 2 on the rear. Now we're getting ready to throw on the lift kit. Hey, Brad's sweeping the floor.
Yeah.
So we got it jacked, we get jacked. Now we're going to take off the tires. Okay guys, we don't need to lift it any higher than it is right now because when we put the new springs on, we're going to have to jack it up higher anyway to get the tires on. So now we're going to make sure we put a jack stand under here to support this properly. And then we're going to jack up the other side and we're going to take the way up the spring, releasing that pressure. The front axle is front. So right now, all we have to do is take it down. We put jack stands under it, and you want to shake it to make sure it's not moving. Then we put the tires underneath the Jeep for added stability, because you don't want a Jeep to fall in. It'd be a bad day. Okay, now we're using the jack to support the front axle before we start loosening anything. Okay, so now he's taking this off. Hopefully everything's high enough so we can we can get the new springs in here. We had to take the whole stabilizer bar because we can't get these off, and we're going to have to beat it with a hammer. And Looney, you want to go ahead and pull that out? And now it just comes right out. Here is our steering pitman arm and our steering linkages. You're going to have to take the cotter pin out of this pin. I usually use a pair of pliers or straighten it and hammer out on the back side to get it out. Not too hard. This is going to, you're really going to have to work on this. So when we're pulling this out, actually when we were taking out the pitman arm, because we just took the castle bolt off this one, and we worked on the pitman arm so much that it just fell off. So you just pull that out. Don't smash your finger like I just did. And then on your pitman arm, we did a lot of cutting here, right here. Then we got our hammer and wedge, and we hammered in these cuts, and we broke it. And then we could use the pitman arm puller to pull this off. So pull this down, and we actually rented sockets from AutoZone to take that off. You may have to buy you a pitman arm puller. I'll leave one down in the link below, because last time I did this, I broke the pitman arm puller, and they made me pay for it, and they're cheaper on Amazon. Okay, we got the pitman arm off. How'd you do it, Brian?
I beat it with a hammer and a chisel.
Did you cut any?
A lot. A lot of cutting. It was a pain.
We cut the crap out of that thing.
About a few hours just on this, just on cutting and everything.
Are you happy it's off?
Yeah.
You have to show the hammer.
Finally start to lift.
You have to show what you use.
Show your archaic hammer you use. Hammer and chisel.
And grinder.
And grinder. Yeah, the grinder over there. You the pitman arm puller won't work alone. You have to grind it.
Start bending.
You have to cut a groove in it. Then you have to use the hammer and chisel. You have to use a big chisel, big hammer, and then you have to just torque on it as you hammer on it. And he's happy. So after you get the drop pitman arm off, you want to take this off.
Now it's getting harder.
Now you have to remove your brake lines because you don't want to overstretch them.
T40 star screw.
240 star screw. Disconnect the axle from the leaf spring. You have 4 bolts. Okay, now that all the bolts are out, we can remove the U-bolts, the old U-bolts. The kit does come with new U-bolts, so you don't have to reuse these.
You do reuse this.
Yes, you do reuse that. Okay, on the driver's side, we have to put the jack on the edge of the axle because the pumpkin's in the way. And then we just raise it up to relieve pressure on the leaf spring. And you'll see it's gapping. You're gonna bruise your hammer.
What?
Let's remove the other side. Oh, it fell. When installing the leaf spring, you put the small end in the front, and then you slide it in place.
It doesn't really slide that easy. There you go. There, not too much.
We reuse the same bolts to mount the leaf spring. I'm going to adjust this mount because it's kind of tight right now. Oh, there you go. Okay. Okay. And then,
Oh my goodness.
you take and you push this up, now pull it in. There we go.
Is it in?
Yeah, it's getting in.
Push it more.
Okay. Push it a little bit more.
Cool.
Hold on, hold on. Let me adjust it with a hammer. Okay, now push it. Push it. Okay. There you go. Now you can release. And then we put the bolt on the back of it and we tighten it down. Okay, now we're taking off the shocks because we got the leaf springs in place, and the factory shocks look to have been just barely long enough. I don't know, they're fully extended right now. Pretty stretched out. Okay, so to do this, you may have to put a vice grip, pipe wrench on it to hold the bottom.
Vice grips would be better.
Well, what we have is pipe wrench.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Even though we didn't, we're not going to use this anymore, it didn't scar up the tube. So, pipe wrench works well. Now we got to take off the bottom one. Before we can take off the rest of the shock there, We actually have to bolt the axles back to the release springs because they're trying to flip on us. Now we're going to lower it down. Take this all the way down. Axle lowered down. You just take and kind of push it around until it gets in that hole. And this is the final bolt for the shock. Now we have to grind out the bolt hole because it's too small on the front mounts for the bolt on the springs. We're actually putting on our U-bolts. So this is the plate we had to drill out to get on there. You're going to have to squeeze.
Yeah, I'm going to have to squeeze those two together. But
yes.
I'm going to get these bolts on first.
Okay.
Oh, you're holding it.
Yeah, I am holding it.
I'm trying to figure out why I was levitating.
And then you push the U-bolt through the other side. Now I'm holding the U-bolt. There, I got the U-bolt. There, I got it now. Okay. Now, to put on the other side, push that side in. Oh, you got it?
There we go.
You bruising your hammer? Ow! Oh, the thread's got me. Ow.
Why did you put your hand there?
Oh, because I like to injure my hands. I don't feel like I've done a project until my hands are injured.
Oh, I see.
So once we get the bolts all on, we take and put the bump stop in under the U-bolt. And then we tighten the U-bolts down. Now we're using the torque wrench. We're putting 65 pounds on these. And it still hasn't clicked yet, but it will someday. Now after we get the tires on and we get this settled down, then we'll tighten up our springs at the top because we don't want to mess up our ride. We want to put weight on. There's a click. For this, you're going to use the 5/16 bolt, the 5/16 washer, and the 5/16 nut. This is in 1620 bag 1 kit. And then you'll reuse the star screw that you took out of the brake line. Now we're going to put on the shock. And we're going to basically just take the straps off. You can push these back down. So in bag 1620, bag 1, you get these washer, the rubber, and the nut. So we're going to put the bottom on first, but we stuck the rubber on the one side. You stick your bolt through, and then you put your nut on it. Now this is tightened to, I believe it's 45 pounds. At the top, you have to push it down to go in the mount. And then you slide it through the hole, and then you take we already have the washer kit on the bottom with the rubber, and you push the washer on the top with the rubber, and they supply you a bolt with the top. The bottom you have to reuse the hardware. And then you tighten this down until it squishes a little bit. You don't over tighten this where you break the rubber, but you want to squish the rubber a bit. Okay, so we're installing the drop link for the sway bar, and you have to use this crush sleeve on the top area. It comes with a bolt. This is in bag 1620, bag 1, and this nut. So to get this in, first I spray it with a little PD blaster to lube up the tube, because or else it's not. And of course you want to get a lot on the floor. That makes it better. And then you push that in. It may take some persuasion with a rubber mallet.
not want to do it on the floor.
I got it. I've already done this once. There we go. And then we're going to pull this in before we try to mount it, because that's a lot of space. So I'm going to use a 18 socket, deep well socket, and a wrench to pull in this crush sleeve. Crush sleeve is also in the same bag, 1620 bag 1. To install it, we're going to spray some PV Blaster in the bottom one. This one doesn't get a sleeve. And then we're going to twist it on down here on the bottom mount, where the leaf spring is hung on. Now put your bolt on the top one. And we put the bolt on this side. We're just going to leave it loose fit. And we'll come back and tighten this after we get the rest of the steering and suspension components on the front done. Okay, now we're going to remove the upper track bar. So once you get the nut off, you can pull the bolt out. Thought we were closer. And it just falls on the floor like that. Look at that. You're going to have the factory bolt. This is going to be a bolt out of 1620, bag 1. This is the longer boat. And then you're going to have the shorter one on the bottom. Then we have to drill another 3/8 bolt to put it down here at the bottom. We'll do that under the Jeep. Okay, we're installing the track bar and we're wiggling right now. He's going in. There you go. Are the bolts lined up? Yeah. Yep, they're lined up.
You put the bolt in. Oh, there you go. It's in. Hold it.
I'm holding it.
Alright. What is it, on the lowest speed?
We're still leaving everything loose, and we're going to install the bolt for the track bar. Now we're going to have to drill for the other one, but
there you go.
Okay, so the bottom of the track bar is aligned and mounted. Now we just have to move the steering stabilizer out of the way so we can drill us a nice big hole into our axle housing. Okay, we have our steering stabilizer out of the way, and now we just moved it down, and we're going to drill a hole right under there. You have it center?
Yeah.
Okay, drill away. There.
Nope.
So after drilling, you want to put your nut. And we're going to stick a lock washer on it just for good measure. It comes with flat washers, but lock washer seems fun. After we get this installed, we're just going to put that steering stabilizer back in place. And we're installing the pitman arm. If you see these teeth here, there's only 4 ways this can go on. We'll spray out the teeth, we'll put a little lube in there, and then we'll slap this thing on and put 240 foot-pounds of torque on it. Brad, you have 240 pounds of butt?
No, it's a lot.
Yeah, this was a bear to get off, but make sure you mount it correctly. And now put your washer and bolt on it, your lock washer and bolt. Don't let it fall on your head.
Well, I'll try not to.
Because you're going to have to pull this up. We've sprayed this down with PV Blaster. So hopefully it goes together simple. And we got that in, and we're going to put the castle bolts on top of it. And then they do send a new pin that you slide through there and you bend. So if you don't have one, you don't have to reuse the old one. Okay, once you get the castle bolt lined up where it needs to be, you put the little pin through it.
Might need some tweezers.
And now you tweezers.
Well, I mean,
pliers to bend the end. Needle nose pliers. Okay, you got the smallest needle nose in there.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, we're trying to pull this thing up, so we're putting a lot of pressure on it. And 240 foot-pounds of torque, or 230, is a lot of torque. Ugh. So now we're going to tighten up all the leaf springs, shackles, to 35.
There you go.
Do the top one too, check that one. These are pivot points. You don't want to over squish them.
Oh, that one's tight. Where's that click? Speed here.
There it goes. So you tighten the shocks, the bottom mount, to 45. Now on the top mount on the shock, you just tighten it until it kind of squishes out. Look how long that is. My gosh. We did have to relocate these lines and run them outside of the casing. Up here, we're going to put some more this protective cover over them. Okay, now we're going to finish tightening our track bar. We tighten the other side. It needs about 45 pounds. We're just going to get really good and tight with this wrench. We're going to come back and check these after driving for a while.
There you go.
And we just tighten the bottom one. Got a really long extension on this. That'll make it more fun. And I'm using the technique of just holding it against the metal. Much easier to hold that way.
Alright, that's good.
Okay. Now that we have all these tightened, we tightened this bolt when we drilled it and put it on under here. So now we're going to put on the steering stabilizer. Okay. He's actually sitting under the Jeep now.
Oh, that's tight. Alright.
Okay, never.
Okay,
just tighten these up until...
tell me when to stop, I can't see.
That's good.
Alright.
That should be good.
There you go.
The reason we don't tighten these till we got the weight down is because if they're spent like this, your ride's going to be really rough. Okay, now we're doing the back side. A really squatting Jeep here.
Pretty rough. So we're taking the back off first, right?
No, we're taking the U-bolts off first.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those.
Okay, so we couldn't get this off because it wouldn't turn right, so we just decided we were going to bend them out. And that looks like it gave us about 4 inches of extra brake line. And we're off the shock, so we should be good right here. We just bent the whole bracket down. We moved it like quite a few inches. So after you get the mount bent for your brake line, or you get the extension the kit came with, you take off your U-bolts. So we've already loosened everything up. Now you're going to repeat this process on the other side, minus the brake line and the track bar. We already have the jack under there holding the axle up.
Reuse these things again.
Now we're going to take off the springs. We've already loosened these up. There we go. Okay, now we're going to do the back of the spring. So we've already loosened this up. And now to get the bolt out, you're going to have to move the bracket back. You probably want to take and move it further up. There you go. And there you go. Now you can get out. Because the gas tank's in the way. And then you bruise your hammer. Right? Ah, there we go.
I just got my foot.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My legs.
Yeah. Well, he's wearing steel-toe tennis shoes, right?
Yeah.
Now we're going to take off the shock. Of course, this has been pre-loosened. And you have to reuse the hardware on the springs and the shock.
Well, the shock still works.
That shock still works?
Yeah, the old one was a dud.
And then you have to take it off on the top. You pull the shock off the top. And it has a little washer on there, and you reuse that. And you don't hit yourself in the head with the shock when you take it off, right?
Yeah.
Now we have to remove the track bar, and it's just a star and a socket. We're going to try not to remove the other side and see if we can get the mount installed.
Holy crap. I didn't realize how long of a bolt this is.
And we got the impactor back out much quicker. Here we go. And track bar is out. Now he's putting in the springs. Which side does the big side go?
Right over here.
Well, the little wedge faces towards the rear of the Jeep. Because you want to angle the drive shaft up. Okay. So we always cheat a little bit. We bend them out a little bit so that we can get the spring in more easily. Okay, turn it that way. There you go. And just put your nut on. So we're going to move this forward so that he can get the other side in.
Yeah,
Okay.
Bend it some more.
Okay, bend it some more.
Yeah.
Bend it.
Bending.
Bend him.
I don't really think that sounds good.
Yeah.
Bend him like, bend him.
There you go.
There we go. Okay.
Yep, I need to unscrew this.
Need more? Getting it through? There we go. Take the impact.
No, it's not.
I see. Go the other way.
That is the right way.
You sure?
It's just it's not finding the way. It needs to go up more.
Up more?
There we go.
Okay.
You just had to push it over.
Okay. And the spring is in. Now we'll stick the bolt back in. We're not going to tighten the springs fully until we get the weight of the vehicle on this. So we're going to tighten our U-bolts. And then after that, we're going to torque down our springs. So now we're going to lower down the jack. Okay, so we lowered the jack, and now we're going to do slide this on.
There we go. It's on.
It is on?
Yeah.
Okay, and you see the wedge? So we have the wedge in place, and it's facing the right way. The brake line has plenty of slack, and all we did was bend them out. Okay, so now we're going to slide the U-bolts in place.
Around the brake line.
Around the brake line. There's the bump stop that goes in place, but we put that in after we get these bolts started. Okay, so once we get the bolts all on, we take and put the bump stop in under the U-bolt. So you don't tighten these down all the way until you get both sides on. Once you have both sides on, then you'll torque these down to 65 foot-pounds. And there we go. We have 65 foot-pounds. And we'll just check them all now. Okay, so we're going to put the track bar extension. It's going to go right there and extend it up. But it has a bolt in the back that goes in that little hole on the back side. Yay! And then we put the crush sleeve right there. And then the stock bolt goes back here. Okay, so it fits perfectly in there. And we're going to put the little bolt through the bob. Okay, so we slid the bolt through and then we put it in place. And then we need this bolt. We're going to put that one in place.
Yeah, let me put this on.
This will help hold it.
Oh, wait.
Put that on the sides.
Hang on.
Here, do this one.
Alright.
To hold down the sides. There you go.
Alright.
Now you can find the bolt and try to stick it on there.
There we go.
I don't know.
Oh, there it is.
And then put this in place. Oh, look at that.
Look at that. No problems.
So, you want the impact to put that in? You want to bruise your hammer?
Yeah.
He's bruising his hammer. We didn't have to move our bump stock, but we do have to use wrenches. Is that fun? Wrenching it all the way?
Yep. One more. I won't break it.
We have a spare. You got it through?
There you go. It's through.
Okay. Bruise your hammer?
Yeah.
And now we're doing the top portion of the shock. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at your misery. You got it on. What, babe?
What are you doing?
Alright.
And now we put the bolt on.
That bolt will push it in.
Yes.
Alright, what?
Okay. And we're going to tighten these down at 45 foot-pounds.
Yeah, let me figure out what socket it uses.
Okay, so once everything is done, you can put your tire on.
Wow.
Be sure not to tighten your shackle. We have jacked up the spring because you want to put the full load of the Jeep on the shackles.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, so now we're going to install the transfer case spacers. We have comes with 2 transfer case spacers, and then your bolts. There you go. Caps on. You want to loosen the bolts up
Let me take
and not take them out. Okay? Don't go too far. Okay? Because you want to do this one at a time.
Look at that.
Pull up that last one a little bit more. Okay. We don't want the transfer case to fall on the floor. Okay. Okay. Okay, now we'll go back to the other side.
That behind the...
Okay. We're going to take out the transfer case bolts on one side, lower it down. We put the jack under there just to make sure it doesn't fall.
Yeah, one bolt.
Yeah, it's moving away. And he's getting dirt on it there. Okay, and it is on the jack right now.
So lower the jack just a little bit.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. He's lowering the jack so until we can get these in. Okay.
There it is.
When you're installing this, you want to make sure these big holes are up because there's a piece, there's a little spacer at the top, and you want that hole to go over it. Once you have the bolts all in, you can go ahead and start tightening them across. Okay. So once you get the spacer installed on one side, you just do the same thing on the other. Okay, so we got the all the bolts pulled up on both sides. You do them both at the same time, and then we're going to put about 55 foot-pound. We got the lift done, and we got the transmission dropped, and now all the gears down here don't work on the transmission. So reverse, second, and third, they're obsolete. We only have first, third, and fifth. So we can only go forward in very large increments. So we're going to take the shift knob out, and we're going to have to cut out down here so we can actually shift. Okay, so here's our four-wheel drive shifter. We just need to fix that. But here is the shifter. And so there's this little rubber thing that I already pulled off. Hopefully I can get it back on. And then there's this ring that goes around it. You have to push and turn that ring left to get the shifter out because it's spring loaded. Okay, so now I'm hugging the transmission and I'm spinning this thing to the left, or trying to. It's down, so I'm gonna get up there for a screwdriver out and try to spin it around some more. Okay, so I had it down, and I'm up here now. I got a screwdriver on one side. I'm gonna push and turn, and there. Oh, it's out, and you see there's the spring. So that's what you have to push in. It's got that little locking mechanism. And that smell of gear oil. Yummy.
Yeah.
So next we have to take this plate out. There's going to be screws all the way around it. I've already taken them out. You just lift it up. You already notice I have a short shirt covering the hole here. I didn't have to take off this shifter because it's broken. It just comes off. But I'm going to show you how to take this shifter off the boot so we can install it back and then install the boot later. Okay, so we already got the boot off, but we had to take and go around here with the screwdriver and pry it off like you're taking off a tire off a rim. And it's going to take you a lot of doing to get this done. But now our shifter's off, so we can install this back. Since we have such a lift, we're not going to put the boot on. It's going to go on down to this side. It's not going to go below, which is probably going to be problematic. But we'll see. Okay, so we're going to install the shifter back in. So it's keyed, so it only goes in two directions. And if you want your passenger to shift, you would install the other shifter pointing the other way. So put this in, you just drop it down. It's keyed to fit. And make sure it's in. Yeah, I think we're in. And then drop your little metal thing in. Okay, once you get it worked into place, you just have to get on there and twist it. And don't let it come back up until it's turned. Okay. And it helps you if you have somebody to get you tools to get it in. And I use 2 screwdrivers. And there, it's in. Oh, okay. So after I get this in place, now I slide the rubber seal back around and put that over to help keep out some dirt. Change sides because this side is easier with the wires being over there to get that on, that lip. But there we go. And it's installed back. Now if you see here, this is our problem. We're hitting the metal. Okay, so we're going to have to trim this metal because it comes back and it hits that. And that boot's keeping it from going in gear. It'll go in gear without this, so I guess if you could drive like this, then go for it. It's also hitting our center console here. So we're going to have to move our center console back. This right here is going to have to be trimmed because it's hitting this. And probably take about an inch off this. We don't want to take it past where it's the paint is, or else you'll see through the hole. Now, when we do this, we're going to cut this and the metal plate we took off, but we're not going to cut the boot. We're just going to move the boot back and re-drill holes where it mounts again. Okay, now we're going to cut out. This is for the four-wheel drive shifter. Okay. So now that we have it cut out, let's see. Yeah, and now our shifter will shift forward without hitting the side. Let's move it forward, and now we'll cut out the back. So now we're going to cut out this right here. We're going to first make our cut, and we're going to cut along here. We'll probably come from the other side, and then cut this side here.
The spark's going to be flying towards me.
Okay. And now we'll come back with a grinder and clean that up. Okay, so now I'm going to cut the plate off. I've marked it, and I'm just going to cut this whole piece out. Ta-da! Magic. Okay. Now we're going to just screw everything back together. I'm going to get some screws in this to hold this down. Okay, now that we have everything cleaned up, and we actually touched up with some paint to keep some rust off of it, we're going to put this on. We'll put this on first here, and slide this one over. And we want to cover up the holes, but we still want to shift. So we're going to pull the shift knob over here to its furthest back position. And that will leave it right there. And I'll put some new holes in here so we can mount it without, and then put the other cap on top of it. And then we'll move this one, this shift knob, to its furthest position over here. And yeah, this is my goofy little shift knob, makeshift extension I made. It really doesn't stay on. And there, that should be enough to get that done. Okay, so we put a screw back here and a screw right here, and this is in place. We have a little gap right here. That should cover up with when we put the major boot mount, but this is how far it had to be in order to be able to shift. Okay, now we're going to put the boot on. Shift boot. And that's fun. And we're going to have to probably take this off again because this is way too short now. You can't even see the threads. So that'll be our temporary shift stick until we get a shift knob. And we're going to bolt this down. We're going to try to do our best to cover up as much of the mess as we can. Okay, so we have the boot in. We only have 2 screws holding it. And it looks pretty good. It's, you know, not the best in the world, but it is a boot, and we'll have to, of course, touch up paint and things like that. But yeah, it's great.
Cat litter out here. Why? It's over there. Did he get it out?
No, he dumped more on the floor.
No, he got it out.
No, it's a big pile of cat litter right over there on the floor.
Yeah.
So.
Did he just traipse it over here or something?
Yes, because he walks through it every time he gets out of the Jeep, the oily cat litter, and then traipses it through here and the house.
Oh, nice.
So. So, as we said at the beginning of the video, the lift kit is great. The suspension lift looks a lot cleaner than the body lift. And the ride, minus we have to fix this spring, this tire's pushed a little back, is pretty good. It is a little rougher.
Unless you're sitting in the back seat. I got banged up back there. I was all over the place.
She still has.
I still have a bruise on my leg from it.
A scratch.
Yeah, it was actually, it's a bobo, and it's like a scar now. I'm like got Jeep scars now. Oh.
She's a country girl.
Sort of, not really.
The lift kit and stuff has worked great. The transfer case drop, and with the angles on the rear axles, we haven't had any problems with universal joints or, you know, anything like that. Because I've had jacked up trucks, and it sucks to sling a drive shaft out from under your car. Because not only are you slinging the drive shaft out, but you're dumping all the gear oil in the road, it's just a big mess. No. So, got that done. Hopefully you like the video. Hopefully you like this video and it was very helpful. And also be sure to check out my wife's recipe videos. And there's links to all the recipes to the blog that actually has detailed instructions for the recipes.
Yes, I do instruct it. I just don't video record it.
No, she doesn't give instructions. She gives tips in the videos, not instructions. Or she's doing something like shaking the garlic and getting all over herself. That was the last video. Check out that. But
calling me out here.
Y'all check out them recipes. Like this video if you thought it was cool. And subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out. And hit that little bell for the ad reminder. Leave a comment. Yeah. And y'all please take care.
Bye, guys. Was that Flappy? Bye, guys.
No, it's not Flappy.
Hopefully not.
Mine's Flappy. Flappy. Y'all stay tuned.
Now you know how these videos go.
Take two.
Did you say brake lines?
No, it doesn't come with brake lights.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
Did you not mention shocks? Isn't there shocks with that?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Oh my god. Just cut it in. Cut it in.
Dad, you don't need brake lines with this kid?
No, it
I
draws,
was gonna say something.
it draws the brake lines down, so you don't have to have new brake lines. It just moves them out there.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're using Get Jack.
I'm just saying.
Take two.
How high do you want me to put it?
Talk about that.
Oh,
Now it's spinning.
How high do you want me to put it?
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the right size? Well, I mean, is it?
Yeah, check it.
Serious. What did I just tell you earlier, babe?
So what's wrong, Brian?
It's stuck.
So what bolt is stuck?
The shocks.
So
I don't really need shocks because I didn't have shocks before.
that bolt should have been on the other way.
Yeah.
What did your wife say to you about 2 hours ago?
It's not going to go that smoothly. With the drop, because if you see a later video, we did the drop on the transfer case, which made the drive shaft align better with the rear axles or the rear diff. I can't talk.
I don't know what he's talking about anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
Levi, you want these? Oh, you take off the sides?
Yeah. They're right there.
They're right off? Or you put them back on?
I'm leaving them off.
Holy cow!
That's what I showed you.
How are we gonna get in the truck now?
The truck?
The freaking Jeep.
Jump in there.
No, this is so hard now. Okay, everybody's gonna be like,
No, later, whenever I sell that, after I do the body lift, I want to get barricade side steps.
that's a 10 ones.
What? Probably, most likely. I don't know
Now it's like a freaking huge truck.
I know, look at that. I don't know what it was supposed to be. Yeah, taking those off made it bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.